always believed, like this other young man who is Miwok always said, when he gets a little high, he would say, jealousy won't get you anywhere.
That was Randy Burns. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco. Welcome to episode 19, part 1. In this episode, Randy will describe his arrival in San Francisco from Nevada in 1974. Shortly after getting here, he helped found the group Gay American Indians. He'll also talk about how, in the 1980s, AIDS affected the organization. Here's Randy.
Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you for including me. My name is Randy Burns. I'm a full-blood Paiute Indian from the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe in Nevada. And I came here mainly from Nevada, from University of Nevada, Reno, 43 years ago, to go to school at San Francisco State.
Okay.
I arrived here in 43 years ago when I was young, long black hair, my BIA glasses, in the spring of 74. And I
Bureau of Indian Affairs, BIA.
No, I came here.
You said BIA glasses.
My BIA glasses.
Bureau of
Indian
Indian Affairs, right? Is that what that stands for?
Kind of like dorky.
Yeah. No, I just
Black
wanted to get
print.
what BIA stands for.
Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Indian Affairs. Okay.
The BIA
Thank you.
glasses.
Thank you.
You say that to any native people of my
They know
generation,
exactly what it
they don't
is.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Okay.
So I came here with my long black hair. I came here to the summer of 74 and to attend San Francisco State. And I arrived here on Greyhound bus, 7th and Market. And I call it Gayhound today. Like so many other queer people came from across America
Sure.
to be part of the gay liberation. And I came here to go to school. Like so many other gay and lesbian native people came to San Francisco to work, to go to school, or to play. So the Greyhound station was located at 7th and Market, and I walked around the corner. There was a gay bar there called the Arena, and it was circular, and that's where I met many gay and gay men, Native American men.
Okay, specifically Native American. Okay.
Right. And I didn't go looking, but that's my first introduction, my first gay bar I went to at 7th and Market. And so that's it. Well, anyway, when I started school at San Francisco State in fall of 1975, I became the president of the student club. And I mainly came from Nevada, University of Nevada, Reno, because it was very conservative. It was like night and day. Cowboys and Indians I left behind at UNR, and at San Francisco State I met many intertribal people like myself, but I also met a lot of queer students at the time. And I became a student leader of the Student Council of American Natives, named after late Richard Oakes. The student led Alcatraz Island Takeover, founder of the student club. He was a student at San Francisco State, and so I was the president of his club.
Did you have any student government experience before that, or was this kind of your first?
No, in high school, where I graduated in 1973, I formed a student organization called the First Americans Club.
Okay.
So I was very involved with high school student government then. And so it kind of like transferred over to San Francisco State when I was accepted. And I came to that came to California for that main reason, because of the fact that they recruited me, one, through EOP, the Affirmative Action Program, to reach out for many disadvantaged people of color,
Okay.
then Third World.
I'm sorry, do you know what EOP stands for?
Economic Opportunity Program.
Okay. Thank you.
And so when I was a student leader, I got very involved with the student government. I ran for student government, and I was elected, and served only a short time. But I was a student leader, but also I became a community organizer. In that process, I met more gay and lesbian, native, queer people at the old American Indian Center, where I worked for 4 years.
Okay.
As through a program called the CETA program.
Okay.
CETA program stand for whatever it stands for, but now it was turned out to JPTA.
Okay.
So they paid for my summer employment when I was back to school in the fall. It was summer employment.
Gotcha.
It's where I met in June, many queer Indian people that were artists. They all came out here from the Santa Fe Art Institute, and they lived in the Haight District. So one day they said, let's meet after we get off work. So we met at the Twin Peaks Bar in the Castro, and the purpose of us getting together was not only to get to know each other, but to start a new organization, because there were other queer organizations happening. And Castro District, we met there. But so we at Twin Peaks Bar, last call, we talked about forming a queer organization called Gay American Indians. And on July 23rd, 1975, it's when we officially had our first meeting. And we purposely met. It was basically a social networking to reach out to gay and lesbian native people at the time. And so when I started getting involved with organizing Gay American Indians, that was my priority, with late Barbara Cameron. And she was a strong woman, a writer, and a photographer. And she made sure from get-go Gay American Indians would be co-sexual in leadership, and that it was. Everything we did in writing was co-sexually written in a collective process. And we were known back then for a long time as a social party group. And so we went through change like not meeting in our apartments,
Right.
but to find space where we can have our own office.
Right.
And we pretty much graduated from that time period into becoming more organized in the 80s and 90s.
Can I ask, originally back in 75, when you first got organized, do you remember specifically what the issues at that time were? I mean, some of them I'm sure are still with us, but what was the group's goal and purpose?
Well, being all young, and gay men would say back then, young, dumb, and full of cum.
Right.
Well, that was not appropriate in any of our meetings to say. But our main purpose was to outreach, to bring together other LGBT, currently used term today, gay and lesbian native people. Outreach was organizing, posting flyers in the Polk Street area, the Tenderloin area.
Where we are right now.
Where we are at right now.
Yeah.
And so, that was our main goal, was the purpose of bringing together all of us to celebrate our pride as queer Indian people.
Were there any other specifically gay American Indian groups that you were aware of back then?
Back in 75, there were no
I would think
in the
not.
United States
Yeah.
organizing a gay or lesbian
Right.
queer identified group. So we're the first group in the nation to form a organized group called Gay American Indians.
Okay.
But like I said, co-leadership from the get-go. It was also co-shared in our writing that include being at the Gay Pride Parade, called then the Gay Pride Parade. Now it's changed. And but back then our issues were addressing issues such as housing.
Mm-hmm.
Housing, we had no homeless people because we took care of our own through sharing, couch. Today they would call it couch diving.
Yeah.
We opened our room for a lot of people that were coming
Mm-hmm.
to work or go to school, so we housed many of our own LGBT, Native Two-Spirit people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a contemporary term, Two-Spirit.
Yes.
So, but we housed them. There were issues around education, getting our newly arrived gay and lesbian Native people into the universities around the Bay Area, housing, education, and social networking. We had 5 members, original members of our Gay American Indians, who met at Twin Peaks. Then it got up to 15, then it got up to 20, then it got up to 35, then it got up to 50.
And it started
outreach.
It started with you all at SF State. How soon did it branch out to your work being done at other schools and also students from the other schools being involved?
Well, the American Indian Studies, both at Berkeley and Stanford and San Francisco State, the American Indian Studies, currently now known as, but again, late Richard Oakes, along with an anthropologist, formed the Native American Studies.
Okay.
And I didn't do outreach on campus. That was not our focus. Our focus was community-based.
Okay.
Organizing, reaching out, and getting our membership up there. And we, from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 30 to 50 to 150 our first year.
Wow.
And it was through posting flyers.
This is pre-internet, kids.
Yes, very grassroots.
This is old school grassroots.
And so we did that in the Tenderloin, in the Poke, south of Market, the leather community.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Castro gay bars were very racist, I would say it today, and I'll say it again. They didn't like people of color or dark-skinned people. We were carded. We were asked for 3 pieces of ID. And how we got in the bars was light-skinned, not dark-skinned people like me, brown boys, or light-skinned women would get in there and say, and once they got to know the bartender, what we did, and it just was not even planned. But if you carded 3 of us, how can you card 20 of us?
Right.
Going to those
So you just show up in mass.
Yeah.
Flash mobs.
Yeah, flash
Almost.
mob, right?
Way before that term.
Yeah, flash mob, and we did it. And
this was specific to the Castro?
yeah, our outreach. But in the Tenderloin, they welcomed our queer Indian money. The Polk Street was happening, the bars.
Yeah.
We plastered the Lower Polk, which is Tenderloin, and the Polk Street bars to do outreach. And so we did it, and we got up 150. We were saying, golly, we developed membership form for the purpose in case of emergency, of a death. Who should we notify? Confidential information, all strictly confidential at the time. And so when we became more organized in the 80s, we developed our own bylaws and articles. And again, we had an office. And at early stage, who paid for our printing and postage, we passed the hat.
Yeah.
Everyone put in what they can at our social after our meeting, we always broke into having a good time, playing hand game. Someone would entertain us by doing a drag act. It was just spontaneous. Those were getting to know each other. In the 1985, when the AIDS epidemic, first case of the virus. That
roughly 10 years after your
10
Twin
years
Peaks.
after we formed Gay America Indians, the epidemic. And I was telling our membership and our board of directors at the time, we were organized. I said, it's coming our way. It's coming our way. And I said, we got to be prepared. So we went to the existing organization. The Shanti program in San Francisco was happening, providing emotional, practical support, home health care, hospital visit, the appropriate care for those who were diagnosed with, they called it the AIDS-related complex called ARC.
I do.
Then
I remember
eventually it became, CDC came out with AIDS.
Yeah.
And then President Reagan didn't mention that at all.
Nope.
So his Secretary of Health and Human Services, the one that first came out and said the word
AIDS.
And so in our membership, and it was a lot of our membership didn't really come out and said I'm positive back then. And I don't think it's because they were ashamed to tell us, but it was personal in nature, and we left it at that. So we got trained.
Stigmatic, even.
Stigma, fear, all that. And I got to say, our membership, they all worked, those who did work. When we had parties at rented social halls, we would bring in 100, 200 members of our membership and their partners. Celebrate, and we ask for a donation. At most events, we'd walk away for our rent with $300,000 to $500,000.
Wow!
You know, that was grassroots fundraising back then, and all those members, like the first case we had, and years later, I found his auntie, and she was a ally. Today we call it ally, but her 18-year-old Upper Miwok, Northern California, from Yosemite, graduated from high school 3 days later. He was a throwaway child. His mom and his daddy didn't want him in the house because he came out in high school about being gay. And then he was positive and didn't share that with his auntie who adopted him. And then they went to his graduation. Mom sat way in the back, and Auntie told me he sat by me. He was crying because he felt ashamed and not being loved by his parents. But she sat with him to graduation, and 3 days later he died. That was our first case. And so I started personally documenting all those men and one woman who was Cherokee. She was street worker. She admitted to that in a newspaper that was going on in San Francisco in this area called Tenderloin Times. I think they're out of print now. And so I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, Brenda Birch mentioned her name. She was public about how she became positive, and she was a user, addicted, heavy user. And she became clean and sober. First Cherokee Native sister that was a supporter of Gay American Indians, and we lost her. The young high school Miwok, Upper Miwok Indian that died was our first case.
Sorry for leaving the podcast on a down note, but check back soon for part 2 of Randy's episode for some lighter and more uplifting stories. Storied San Francisco is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find every episode on our website, storiedsf.com. You can subscribe to the podcast on Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. On iTunes, you can rate and review podcasts, so if you do that, I'd really appreciate it. Our email is storiedsf@gmail.com. Music for the podcast is by Joe Bigale. Film photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. Thanks for listening.